Please subscribe to our channel and don't let us comment and like the video.
The United Nations announced in January 2018 that the 20th of May each year is World Bee Day, to raise public awareness of the importance of bees. On this year's World Bee Day, the United Nations has raised the slogan "Work for Bees," and addresses beekeeping issues properly, and tips for producing high-quality products. But should we take care of bees? And what happens if the bees disappear? Initially, there are approximately 25,000 to 30,000 bee species on Earth, the most famous of which are honeybees, which are characterized by a hairy body. And honeybees live originally in tree cavities, but can be raised in artificial cells. Another type of bee is the bouncy bees, which is characterized by its yellow body, and lives in small cells consisting of 150 to 200 bees. And this species can bite more than once, unlike honeybees, and is usually found in pits inside the soil. Bees rely entirely on flowers in their food, so we see bees build the cells in which they live as the flowers begin to open in the spring season. The beehive is divided into three categories. The first being the queen, the largest bee, and the only one that is allowed to reproduce, and its mission is to lay eggs and produce more bees. The second category, all of which are descendants of the queen, work inside the hive to build the hexagon structure and preserve the young bees, and also outside the hive to collect nectar, pollen and water. The latter are males and their task is to fertilize the cell queen, as well as the other cell queens. Active bees are active and hard-working. They fly about 2 kilometers to collect nectar and pollen for the hive. The vaccine is used as a source of protein for bee larvae. Nectar is used to make honey by drying it out of water, and adding some secretions from the bee glands. In addition to the importance of honey to humans, it is also a small food, and large bees inside the hive, and the amount of honey produced by the beehive at the end of each summer can reach 45 kilograms. One of the main reasons we care about bees is not honey production, but because it is one of the most prominent natural pollinators. Approximately 75% to 95% of the flowers depend on pollination for reproduction. When bees visit a flower to collect nectar and pollen from within the male genital eye of the flower, some of the pollen adheres to the bristles of the bees. Then the bees move to the nearby flowers and the pollen attached to the bristles falls into the female genital lid of the flower, thus multiplying among the flowers. Pollination is not only for the production of more flowers, but it is also essential for the production of the floral fruits that we depend on in food and different industries. And 1/3 of the world's food today depends on plants that bees pollinated, such as avocados, berries, broccoli, almonds, beans, cucumbers, pumpkins, strawberries, and many more. Another important role for bees is also to vaccinate cotton and linen flowers. We may think that bees are safe from extinction due to their many diverse species, but the numbers of bees are declining for various reasons, such as cell collapse disorder, a disease that usually affects European honeybees and causes the death of all hives, and scientists have not yet found the cause of it. The use of some types of insecticides also affects the cognitive abilities of bees and may not find a way back into the hive, and in other cases pesticides may kill bees. In some areas, climate change also affects the growth of flowers on which bees depend for making their food. If we ever wake up to the news of the disappearance of bees, what does this mean for the ecosystem and humans? Initially, the production of flowers that depend on bee pollination will be reduced, and if humans do not intervene to pollinate them, a stressful process for humans, they will be permanently extinct at some point, and then we will gradually lose the animals that depend on these flowers for their food, causing the food chain to collapse. More serious than previously known is that bees pollinate more than 70 species out of 100 crops that provide 90% of the world's food. Meaning that the disappearance of bees means that the disappearance of the 70 species gradually disappears from the world, that is the shortage of global food. And the decline in bee numbers today puts more than 20,000 species of flowers at risk of extinction over the coming decades.